It's your fifth year here. You've had 5 groups of receivers. Is there anything unique or different characteristics about the group in general?
I think the overall speed of the group to me stands out. Not the biggest group that we've had by any means, but I just think that a bunch of different those guys can really stretch the defense. And then you talk about the run after the catch stuff is something that we've seen a lot during camp. So that to me about the group really stands out.
To outsiders, the thing you hear from people is that this isn't a tall team at all from the receiver. Is that really that big of a deal, or I mean, what kind of an asset is it to have a 6'4", 6'5" guy out there that you can?
Well, I think you'd like to have a good mix of them, And Trayshawn Harrison's got some, decent size. Jimmy Valson's a young kid that's got some good size. We have some guys in there, but I think that you'd like a mix of. You get down in the red zone area, or in some of those third down situations where you like a physical, bigger body guy that can, get you 5 yards at kind of like an Isaiah Hodgins we had a couple years ago was pretty reliable in that setting. But we've got some young guys, I guess, that are coming up. I see that way, but the other guys we just have to use them in a little bit different ways.
I guess you do have a tight end that's pretty tall.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like the offense was a lot more competitive in the second scrimmage compared to the first one. When you watched the film and kind of analyzed it, what are some of the areas you felt like your guys took a step forward in last week?
Didn't have as many penalties, and then turnovers were still low. I think that was good. We didn't have a lot of, bad snaps, ball on the ground. Those things were good to see. Less penalties in the first scrimmage, and then I just thought overall better execution from the first through the third group. I think just running kind of the same plays. You had another week of reps, another week against some of the defense's looks that they were given, and yeah, it was good to see guys go out. I thought we scrimmaged a lot better, like you said, in that second one than we did in the first one.
With the next couple of days off for the players, it's kind of like this. Technically might be the last day of fall camp as they come back. Talk about the game mode, how you feel about this offense as you get ready for the Broncos.
Yeah, I think it's coach has given them a couple days and just kind of a break, camp ending, and kind of get the battery recharged, get healthy again, and then us coaches to kind of really dive into the Boise State stuff and kind of finalize the game plan. I'm fired up about the group. I really am. I just think we've got a lot of guys on offense that have played a lot of football and have been in our system for, multiple years. And anytime you have that, it's fun to game plan for those guys. And I think we have a lot of unique talent, different guys, different skill sets that I think as an offensive staff, it's going to be pretty fun to design plays and scheme as we get into, kind of a weekly opponent.
How fun is it for you to have the Colletto factor?
Yeah, Jack is, awesome player. I just think the trust factor between myself and the rest of the offensive coaching staff with him. He played quarterback. He's called snap counts. He's done it before. He's been in short yardage, fourth down, critical situations for us. There's a real trust factor there, and then the kid's smart and tough, and you can win with those guys. So yeah, he definitely allows us to be. Definitely allow us to do some different things this year.
Jonathan had high praise for Jimmy Valson after the scrimmage. Where have you seen him make the biggest strides as a young player?
Yeah, I thought from the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, he was one of the guys that really stood out in that second scrimmage. Made a great play on a go ball down the sideline. It was a tough catch down the sideline. He's a guy that's got some length to him and can run, and it seemed like the game slowed down for him a little bit. Maybe he was thinking a little bit less in the second scrimmage, and he played faster. And that's just kind of what we saw when we recruited him. So it was good to see, and we just got to keep him coming. And I'm sure you'll see him this year.
Can you give me some perspective on what's the biggest thing for a younger player to keep in mind when they go from a fall camp style practice into the game prep style practices, I guess?
I think it's the biggest thing for me is not losing your technique, and there's a little bit less individual, more scheme, team oriented, less time for some of that stuff, and so I think it's the guys just making sure that they take all those fundamental things that we hit on in camp and techniques, and make sure that they're staying tight on those as we get into game mode.
You've got looks like you have about 7 receivers right now that could see significant playing time. Jonathan sort of hinted, maybe, I think it was Pac-12 Media Day, that maybe you might not play as many guys in games as you did last year at receiver. Can you see that, or do you think you're going to be as diverse with the numbers that go out there as there was last year?
And we're going to finalize that probably here in the next couple of days as we get into the specific game plan. And I think a lot of it will be, hey, these are the schemes that we want to run and which guys do we feel like do those the best. And then as we get the game plan more ironed out, I think some games it may be similar to what you see last year, and some games it may be a little bit tighter, and we're rolling with the top 3 guys, and they're just consistently playing more. But if we've got those guys talented players, and we want to try to get them on the field.
Did you feel like at any time last year that you maybe played too many receivers in a game?
Not really. The only one I felt like just getting a little bit used to it was that first game, the Purdue game. It was a little. I felt, and we were struggling in that game a little bit too, but we were a little bit out of rhythm. I wouldn't say that was the biggest reason, but we were struggling a little bit, and regardless of that. But no, I don't think so.
Do you expect everything to be in as far as the offense goes at the end of camp, or is that something that you do the entire year?
I mean, a big part of it is, and there'll be some wrinkles and stuff that you throw in, but we're always just kind of picking from our core concepts, and feel like that we can dig into those and make them look a little bit different to the defense as far as maybe a personnel group or a formation, but it's the same concept for our guys that they have a bunch of reps at, and that's something that kind of really the philosophy of our offense and what we do, and try to keep it simple for us and complicated for the D, and just operate the things that our guys have reps on, and then splice in a couple wrinkles, to kill some tendencies and keep people honest, and then have our guys have a little bit of fun during the week.
How do you like the experience of Mahalchik's group, offensive line?
Yeah, there's been 3, 4, 5. That first wave of them, they've been doing it for, like I said, that's what I'm kind of talking about. Those guys have been around for a while, experienced guys, played a lot of ball, know the way that Jim is thinking, the way he wants it taught, really, really good in the technique, and I'm really excited. We keep them all healthy, and then we've been, developing that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th guy, and I think that's something as we go through the season that we got to continue to develop those guys and build that depth.
It sounded like earlier in the season there was a bit of uncertainty of the identity of the offense. How do you feel like they've sort of come into their own now that you're sort of moving into a game week?
I feel like we've got an identity, and I think there's a couple different ways that we could go with the talent that we've got, based on how maybe a defense is going to play us a certain week, I think we've got talent at a bunch of different positions, and guys have different skill sets to where if the defense is going to play us a certain way, we can do this, and if they're going to play us a little bit more like that, that's pretty general without getting too specific, but I just think with the talent that we've got, we can go a couple of different directions, and we'll just kind of see how it plays out, I think, through the first, through the non-league games, and I think that our identity will continue to develop as we kind of progress through the first half of the season.
Is there anything in camp you felt like by the end you weren't able to quite get accomplished that you wanted to get accomplished?
Not really. No, I thought we touched on a ton of the situations, and had a lot of situations, particularly the last week and a half. Got most of the stuff, and with a veteran group, it's easier to get kind of the whole deal in. And felt like we got everything we wanted to be in, and stayed pretty healthy, and I feel pretty good about where we're at.
You got some conversations with some guys coming up in the next couple of days. Some of those conversations are fun to have, and some of them are probably more difficult to have. Those ones that are more difficult, how do you approach those with the guys?
I just think it's shooting them straight and letting them know this is where it is and where we see it, and there's kind of honesty that way, and then giving them kind of some hope and some vision to the future on how that they can improve and improve their situation. And I think that we've been harping on our guys is different guys embracing their role. It may not be the role that they want at that moment, but for us to be successful as a team, those guys really diving into that role, buying into that role, and doing the best they can in that role. And then I think as a position coach, giving him these are the areas that we need to continue to develop to get you to where you want to be. And I think that most of our staff does a pretty good job that way.
Is the way the players respond to that, is that a big part of the way the season turns out?
I think so. I mean, I think in some cases each case is so unique. I think we've got a great group of guys that have bought into the culture of what we do here and want to be a part of what we're doing here, and understand that sometimes you're in a development phase and you're not quite there. And I think they appreciate the honesty that the staff shoots them in that situation. But there's always some certain individual circumstances that are a little bit different. But I think we do. I think we've got a really good group of kids that believe in what we're doing here and want to be a part of it.
It's last day of fall camp.
Oh yeah, fun. I mean, it's competitive, but that's what you want to see. Is day 18, practice 18. So just seeing that we all competitive, all out there having fun. I mean, that's great. That's what you want to see going into the season.
What does it say about the offense, the way you guys responded from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, and how much better you guys improved in that aspect?
I think it's just working on the details. This summer we were really talking about the details and what it takes to get to the next level. And from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, I think it was a huge jump. Guys were just focusing on what they had to do, their job, and that's what I feel like really made the difference.
This is your fourth camp?
Yes, sir.
How would you say the receiver room has evolved over the course of your 4 years here?
Oh yeah, it's been good. I mean, we've always been pretty deep at wideout, I would say. We've had guys like Isaiah Hodgins, Trevon Bradford. So we still got guys like Tyjon Lindsey, Trayshawn. So we've been pretty deep, pretty years. And I would say we're still pretty deep this year.
But is there anything in particular you guys have gotten a lot better at over the 4 years as a group, you feel like?
I'd say just making plays. Making the plays when the opportunity presents itself, and just going out there and having fun. I mean, that's really what it is. Go out there, you're going to have fun when you make plays. So we just focus on making plays. It's stuff we can control. We can't focus on if we don't get the ball thrown to us, any of that. So just making plays and making the best out of every opportunity you get.
Camp's one thing, but now it's first game mode. What are your thoughts about that, and how do you prepare for an opponent like Boise State?
It's just locking in a lot of film. So starting out today, we're going to be diving into some film. So just watching a lot of film, just trying to pick up on any tendencies. But then just realize we got a week and a half till game day. So just realizing what we need to focus on as a team, and just doing that.
Coach Smith had really high praise for Jimmy Valsin, over the scrimmage. Where have you seen from him in that wide receiver room that's, I guess, helping him improve over this fall camp?
Oh yeah, he's been doing his job. He's been stepping up and making plays, and that's all we can ask for him. He's going to be a big time piece of this year to contribute on this offense. So he's been doing it. He's been doing his thing.
You came here out of high school with speed as being your best asset. Sure. When did you feel like the switch flipped for you as a college player?
I'll say probably my second year going into is when I really started to get comfortable and running routes and all that stuff. I was lucky enough to have guys like Isaiah Hodgins and Trevon Bradford around me to be the big brother I needed to help me develop my game. So just that second year is what I say I really took me understanding more, and having those guys ahead of me really helped me out.
If there was maybe one identity or two of this wide receiver group as a whole, whether it's speed, consistency, do you feel like you can kind of categorize this group in that way?
I'll say playmakers. I mean, you guys have seen it. You guys have been at practice. We got a bunch of guys who can make plays. It's not just one or two. Everyone in the room is making plays. Everyone has contributed this camp. So I'd say we just got playmakers in the room.
Yards after the catch, how huge is that for you?
Oh, it's big. Just any little separation. Yak is a big thing, and Coach Fentz harps on that a lot to us in the wideout room. So just getting any yak we can, and getting the opportunity to be able to get yak. So a lot of people don't understand that. So just yak's a big part of our offense, and Fentz really harps on that.
How did you feel like those battles with the secondary were during camp?
Oh, it's great. I mean, you guys, Alex Austin, Rajon Wright, Jay Grant. We've got a bunch of guys back there. Catan. It's great. We go to battle every day, go to work every day. We know it's competitive, but at the end of the day, we're still teammates. We're out there to make each other better. So it's been great all camp.
Where has the chemistry, I guess, grown? Compare it from last year with Chance to now, Chance.
Oh, it's grown tremendously. We put a lot of work in over the spring and the summer to get to where we were. Make sure we focus on the deep ball. That's a big part of the offense we were focused on over summer. So it's been great. Just repping that every day over the summer it's helped out a lot.
You've got at least 7 guys that are looking for significant playing time this year. So there's a lot of competition. How have you been able to keep it friendly in the room, but still be competitive?
So the biggest thing is, like Fentz's biggest thing is be competitive but not combative. So as long as we are going there, understand we have the same common goal. It's just guys being able to own their role and embrace it. That's what really takes teams to the next level. When you guys have guys, we got a couple guys in the room that can play, but as long as everyone knows their role, understands the role, and lives up to the role in the fullest, that's all you can ask for.
You feel good about the improvement on the deep ball work you did?
Oh yeah, yes sir. We've hit a bunch over in the fall camp, so I feel like even from this spring, this fall to spring compared to where we were, I think we made a ton of growth.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Point in fall camp, now transitioning into game week, I guess you would say?
Yeah, I'd say so. Still some things to clean up, but we're going to be good by week 1.
What are some of the differences that you see in a practice, when you're preparing for an opponent as opposed to just going through, the monotony, so to speak, of fall camp?
Well, fall camp's a lot about ourselves, trying to fix our technique, our assignments, whatnot. And then once we get into game week, it'll be a lot more game planning stuff, a lot more preparing for Boise State and future opponents after that.
How much discussion has there been from the coaching staff or even amongst the guys, the fact that there's going to be a little less fans than you guys are probably used to, and obviously this program was great last year at home. Has there been any discussions about that and how could it ultimately affect gameplay perhaps? Or
we haven't really talked about that at all. We're just prepared to play despite, whatever stadium, whatever, how many people are there. We play at a high school, it'll be the same game,
As far as that Providence Park practice that you guys had, number one, can you describe what that was like? And number two, how you think that's going to help you guys when you ultimately play Montana State? It's getting a little ahead of yourself, but, the purpose was trying to go there and kind of get used to the facility there.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. I like that arena or stadium, whatever you call it. I thought it was cool. There's a lot of echo there, so I think that'll be fun. And I think we'll be able to pack it out.
There must be a sense of relief, accomplishment, joy. Fall camp's over. How's that feel to be done with this stage of the process?
It's cool. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it much. Just trying to take it a day at a time. Tomorrow will be, on to game stuff. So maybe if you ask me tomorrow, I'll have a different answer.
How much development have you seen from some of the new guys in the offensive line starting group with Marco and Tolley? How much have they improved this offseason?
I think it's been a big step up for a lot of guys this offseason. We were all just trying to get better every day, and there's always just that focused mindset, trying to improve. So I think it'll help us leaps, and I think we've gotten a lot better.
Piggybacking off of that, what's the biggest thing to keep in mind or that you're stressing to some of the younger guys when they go into transition from a fall camp type practice to a game prep type practice?
We've talked a lot this fall camp just about owning your role, despite no matter what it is, whether you're scout team, starter, travel squad, just owning that role and playing it to the best of your abilities.
How big is the continuity, especially at that quarterback position for you guys going into this year?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I got my back to the quarterback all the time. I'm not even sure who's back there most of the time, so it doesn't really change anything for us up front. We know that we got guys who will do well no matter what. Good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.